athlete's been squatting a lot, quads getting tight, maybe your lower back is starting to hurt. Let's talk about how to stretch those quads, those big muscles. Now, there's a lot of things we need to consider. A lot of times your knees can start to hurt because your quads are tight, right? We've talked about how to foam roll these quads. And again, we always want to foam roll first if we're really trying to affect the area. Because again, we want to think of our muscles like a knot. We want to open those knots up before we try to stretch them rather than trying to pull a knot through when it's tight. So maybe your knees are bugging you, maybe your lower back is bugging you, and let's see how we can take care of this. So the first one I always like to do is called tall kneeling bow. Now, I'm going to be in a nice kneeling position, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands and just push them forward, okay? I'm trying to tuck my hips under, right? I don't want to be arched as I try to do this. I want to tuck my hips under and push, okay? That way I can feel my hips opening up. You can do this from a standing position too if you're at work. This is a great one. You just get up out of your chair and you can do something like this. Now, a way to advance this is by stepping forward into a lunge. So I'll step my opposite foot. Now, same deal. We want to keep our hips tucked and then we'll push forward. Now I feel a little bit more stretch. Something to be wary of is we don't want to just cram it as hard forward as we can because the way your hip is set up, you have this sac in here and your femur bone will just push up against that sac and that's what you're feeling. Remember, we want to feel a stretch, not just pressure. So we tuck our hip, we slightly slide forward. Now another way to advance this is we can always grab on and we'll get a little bit more quadricep stretch. Always thinking with your butt. Now, way to advance it even further. Maybe you can't grab on like this. Maybe this is really hard for you. Get up against a wall. Throw your foot up against the wall. So I'm going to just slide this over so you can see it. Right? Get your foot up against the wall. Same concept. Hip is tucked. You slightly slide forward and you get that quadricep stretch. Now you can really hike that foot up and get one heck of an angle, right? Get one heck of an angle in your leg so that you can benefit even more. But again, we want to feel our quadricep stretch. If you're not feeling your quadricep stretch, make sure you're doing what you need to do in order to actually get your quads stretching. Hopefully these help your lower back, your knee pain, or just general stretching and general comfort. I'll see you next time.